Homeowner Janelle Hansen.
The property used to go clear down to University. It was one of the, and then the church, you know, that was built next door, and this became part of the church. And at one time it was, I think, where the pastor or whatever lived for the church.
Wilbur Author Hitchcock was the architect of this house. He designed more than 300 houses and buildings in Laramie during the early 1900s. This house was originally a Victorian, which he converted to a Tudor Revival.
Hitchcock came in to, they wanted to match this house with the church, and that's when it became stuccoed in the English Tudor. Somebody said a little while ago that this house is a very lucky house in the sense that it's all circles. So in a feng shui way, you walk to the house, there's a circular entryway, you come in the house, you never have to backtrack. You can always go completely around, and upstairs is the same thing. It's a complete circle again. So the house itself has a very strong personality. So no matter what you do, you know, you can paint and everything, but the house's personality seems to resonate.
Janelle was born and raised in Laramie. Her parents bought the house in 1959 when she was 4 years old.
They bought it from Colonel Malcolm Craig, Mrs. and Mr. Craig.
The original owner of this house was John W. Meldrum, who was an influential figure in the early development of the state of Wyoming.
He was secretary of the territory, I believe, and then when Wyoming became a state, he was acting governor, and he got that news while he was here in the home, in the house. And then he went on to be superintendent of Yellowstone for many, many years. Crumrine built it for Meldrum, and then it says it was reverted back to him. There was a graveyard between 6th and 8th Street, and I didn't know where on 6th and 8th, but we have a tombstone out in our backyard that my father dug up. So they actually moved, I believe, the graveyard up to Green Hill Cemetery. You know, my father, he had he told us that he had all of his architectural plans down in the basement. He didn't want the kids messing around down there. So he told us that there were graves down there, and he pointed out they had actually had a flood in there, and he had sealed up the windows, and he said, you know, these are where people have been buried. Well, it scared us all. Nobody had set foot down in the basement. I mean, it sort of spread around the neighborhood that we had this cellar down there and it was so funny because years later when my father found the tombstone, he said this story that he had conjured, it probably was true. You know, when my father, he was going to restore one of the original fireplaces and open up this fireplace, and when he did, it was 2 stories of an ash heap. And so in that ash heap, he found all these little interesting things. That's what this box is, of all these things that people had thrown away, like these china. There was little pieces of china. And here is for a piano, this 1898. And then some pipe cleaners. There's a concert for John Wetzel in Denver, and it's in March 9th, 1897. It's a piano recital, I think. So this is probably Meldrum, I assume, that, and little cigars, and it even has something inside about how to smoke them. Cheesebro Vaseline. This one is triple extract, And these are from the Laramie Druggist, which is spelled with 2 G's. I feel that the heritage you don't have to reinvent the wheel over and over. Preserve it. I think it adds to one's life and culture and feeling of belonging to something much deeper.